Every Spider-Man Ever presents Amazing Spider-Man issue 27. Last issue, the Green Goblin captured Spider-Man and interrupted the Crime Master's bid to take over the gangs. Those very gangs quickly chain Spider-Man up and their loyalty switches. They follow the Green Goblin now. The only person who doesn't is Patch, our resident police informer. As the gangs decide what to do with him, Spidey wakes up and wishes he hadn't. Even though he's wrapped in chains, he's able to fight back against the gangs, leaping over bullets and goblin blasts so they hit each other rather than him. Just as Spidey is losing momentum, the police arrive. They're heavily outnumbered, but their arrival grants enough of a distraction for Spider-Man to flex free of his chains. With use of all of his limbs, the fight is soon won by Spider-Man. He even has time to set up his camera. The gang members surrender, the Green Goblin escapes, and backup arrives thanks to Patch sneaking out to alert the police. Since the Green Goblin is on a glider, Spider-Man chases after the Crime Master instead. The chase leads under the harbour and into a sewer pipe, which is where Crime Master fires off nerve gas. Spider-Man is ready this time though, and crafts himself a protective mask with his webs. But by the time he's able to make it through the gas, the Crime Master's long gone in the sewers and there's just too many directions that he could have gone. Spider-Man has lost him. Since the harbour is now empty, Spidey goes back to Foswell's apartment instead. He's sure that Foswell has something to do with all of this. His search uncovers a secret compartment in Foswell's wardrobe. It's empty now, but it's the perfect place to store a Green Goblin and/or Crime Master outfit. Spider-Man is convinced. Foswell is the Green Goblin and/or the Crime Master. He travels to the Daily Bugle to deliver the news to Jonah. But of course Jonah doesn't believe him. In fact, he calls Frederick Foswell into his office and directly asks him, "Are you the Green Goblin and/or the Crime Master?" And since Foswell says no, the case is closed. Spidey would argue further, but a gunfight is happening on the roof opposite. The actual Crime Master is going to shoot at Foswell, but the cops stop him. The gunfight leads to the Crime Master's death, and his dying words are almost the identity of the Green Goblin. Almost. At the Bugle, the cops arrive to thank Foswell. Since he was an old gangster, he was able to figure out who this new player was. He'd told the cops and also acted as bait for them to catch him. So who was the Crime Master? Nick Lucky Lewis, a character who's not been mentioned at all. Sometimes the big reveal is just somebody you've never heard about. Since Spider-Man is in his office, Jonah tells the cops to arrest him for crimes, and when they refuse, he threatens a front-page story about Foswell to make Spider-Man look like a fool. Which reminds Spidey, he left his camera. He swings back to the pier, only to find the camera missing. As he searches, a rotten plank sends him tumbling into the water, but he's able to find his camera in the hands of some children and swings away with most of his dignity intact. However, because of the water, his costume shop costume is shrinking, so he removes it on a rooftop until he can find a better solution. At home, he develops his pictures of the warehouse fight, but he doesn't want to sell it to Jonah, not after the way he was just treated. Instead, he goes to the Daily Globe and sells them there, although he's put off by how nosy the editor Barney Bushkin is. At his gentleman's club, Jonah is bragging about this big story and his reporter's involvement. In fact, he claims he was the mastermind behind the whole thing. His mood is only slightly dampened by the news that the Daily Globe got exclusive Parker-produced photographs. At home, and with Aunt May out of the house, Peter continues his search for his real costume. When that turns up nothing, he realizes that his worst nightmare has come true. He'll have to sew another. But that'll have to wait, because Aunt May arrives home after her evening plans are cancelled. Missing his aunt, Peter offers her a trip with him to the theatre. As they watch the film, Foswell returns to his apartment. He's glad that no one realized his real secret identity, Patch, the police informant. And elsewhere, the Green Goblin rages that Spider-Man stopped him once again. He vows to disappear, just long enough for Spidey to think him beaten, and then strike once more to destroy Spider-Man for good. But Peter's unaware of all of that. He's enjoying the evening with his aunt by his side. He's happy. Thanks for watching, and while you're deciding what to watch next, here's a fun fact about this issue. This issue has the first appearance of Barney Bushkin, who'll go on to play a small but pivotal role in Parker's life, but that won't be for another decade.